All right, welcome everybody. Happy Friday, happy weekend. I can't think of a better way to start off the weekend with a little bit of yoga. So let us find our way either to a comfortable seat, your choice, or a comfortable place on your back. And usually people don't need any encouragement, to do that, especially on Friday. It's hit the deck. That would be me too, absolutely. Whenever I can lie down, I do. All right, so find a comfortable seat or place on your back, whatever that means for you. Maybe supporting your knees if you're seated with blocks. Your hands can rest anywhere that's comfortable, either somewhere on your body or maybe one on top of the other in your lap. And you can close your eyes if that works for you. Some people don't like that. And if you're one of those, just keep them open. Maybe take a soft gaze on the first thing that drifts into your awareness. And let's start our practice by taking a big, deep breath in through your nose. And then open your mouth side all the way out. Do that one more time. Deep, full breath in. So we're drawing the air into the space behind the belly button. You feel your belly button rise. And then sigh it out. Beautiful. So start to draw your awareness deliberately, consciously, intentionally to that rise and fall of your breath. And this can be, as simple as it sounds, this can be kind of a difficult thing to do. Maybe it's been a challenge just to get here to class, and maybe your nervous system got a little bit elevated in the process. This is the place to turn that around and actually set the tone for your entire day. So maybe if it helps to focus a little more deeply on the breath, you could take one hand to belly, one hand to heart if you're seated. My favorite when I'm lying down is to take a hand on either side of my low belly. So all 10 fingers pointing into its center and my upper arms resting on the floor. So there's absolutely no effort involved. And notice how as you breathe in, everything lifts, everything expands in all directions. And at the very top of the inhale, there's a quiet little space before the exhale begins. And as you exhale, everything draws back into its center, everything gently descends. And at the very bottom of the exhale, you notice again a quiet little space before the inhale begins. And this is all we have to do for several rounds of breath. Just breathe. And by now, your mind may have drifted away or flown away like a little bird. And know that that is perfectly normal. That is perfectly okay. You're not bad at meditation. It is simply what the mind does. When you've noticed this happening, you can do one of, well, probably more than two things. If you want to, you can follow those thoughts wherever they lead, maybe hopefully in a good direction. Or if you prefer, when you notice that your mind has wandered, just gently tug your awareness back to that movement of the breath with no judgment, no value placed on what just occurred. And this may happen many, many times. It's okay. Sometimes a little mantra like that helps us. It's okay. And now take one more deep and full breath in and full breath out. And if your hands are somewhere on your body, you can release them to any place that's comfortable. And start to bring a little movement into fingers and into toes. And then make the movements a little bigger to your wrists. If you're lying down, you can move your feet, rotating your ankles, flexing and pointing your toes. And then let your movements come to stillness. Take a big, deep breath in. Stretch your arms up towards the sky. If you're lying down, your feet stretch towards the end of the mat. And then on your exhale, let your arms float down. If you're on your back, knees draw in, and Kathy and I will meet you on the back. So you get a head start on us. Wrap your arms around your knees, rock from side to side. And feel that beautiful decompression of your low back. And then lift your legs up towards the sky. We'll find our way to a happy baby. So legs, feet are towards the sky, legs are separated, knees slightly bent. Reach for whatever comes to the end of your hands. That could be the soles of your feet, your ankles, your calves. And you can do one of two things here. Either rock from side to side if that feels good, or stay here in stillness and just hold the happy baby. And then let go of what you're holding on to. Draw your knees in one more time. This time we'll take our arms out to the side at shoulder height or maybe lower. If there's anything going on in the shoulders or neck. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, let your knees drop over to the left side. This might be a good place for a prop, either underneath or between your knees. So a blanket or a bolster might be a good idea. And if you want to add a little gentle intensity to this twist, you can turn your head away from your knees, but only if that feels good in your body. So whatever I suggest to you today is just that. It's only a suggestion. This is your practice, and you know far better than me what is happening with you today. So I want you to honor that and know that, not like you need my permission or anyone's permission, but know that you have the permission and agency to do exactly what you need to do. And on your inhale, knees come back through center. And as you exhale, knees drop to the other side. And this might feel completely different in terms of sensation, where you feel it, how intense it is. So you might make different choices about using the prop or not using the prop, about turning your head or keeping your eyes in the direction of the ceiling. And on your next inhale, bring your knees back to center and let your feet fall down to the mat. Take your arms out to the sides and your feet out to the outer edges of the mat, and just let your knees drop. Both knees drop to the right and then they drop over to the left. So some gentle windshield wipers. And then come back to stillness in the center. And we'll start to make our way up to seated. So you may have a favorite way to do that. You could just roll to one side, press up to seated, or draw your knees in, take hands under your thighs, and start to rock and roll up to seated. And once you're there, I'm gonna get a blanket, a folded up blanket, like about so that I can sit on that, on the edge of that. And then find your way to an easy seat. Big hair. I don't know where that came from. I don't think it's mine. An easy seat. So maybe you support your knees with blocks or something else. All right, and hands on your knees. We're going to start with a few gentle circles, big upper body circles, connecting your movement with your breath. Maybe eyes are closed, maybe they stay open. And go ahead and let anything that wants to be part of this movement join in. So shoulders, maybe your head, and see what kind of messages, much kind of information you're getting from your body as we start to make our movements bigger and bigger. All right, and pause and start your circles in the opposite direction. Two more, and then we'll come back to neutral spine. And we'll meet in neutral spine. Hands will release down by your sides. Take a big inhale. Arms lift up to the sky. You feel your palms join, your fingertips come together, and exhale, hands down to your heart. Let's take two more just like that. On an inhale, arms lift to the sky. Maybe you even look up. Arms together, fingers together. Exhale as you bring your hands down to your heart. And last time, on an inhale, arms lift to the sky. Palms and fingertips together. Exhale your hands down to your heart and take your thumbs to your sternum. So I always think of this as symbolically taking my hands to my heart or connecting with my heart. And take a big deep breath in and deep breath out. And if there is an intention that you want to set for your practice today, or someone that you want to send loving kindness to, someone who really needs a little extra TLC coming out to them, a little positive energy, go ahead and bring that intention or that individual to mind now. And then release your hands again down by your sides. We'll take an inhale, lift our arms up to the sky. This time we'll take it into a twist. So the right hand on the left knee and the left hand behind you. Take an inhale, pressing into the hand behind you, and lift the crown of your head towards the sky. We're twisting over towards the left side. We'll untwist and come back to center. And then on the next inhale, arms lift up and we'll take it to the other side. Left hand, right knee, right hand behind you. On an inhale, pressing gently into the right hand, crown of the head lifts, and twisting over towards the right. And untwist and come back to center. Take your left hand down to the mat. And on an inhale, we'll lift the right arm up to the sky. Reach your fingertips tall at first. And then on your exhale, bend into the hand that's on the mat and reach over towards the left side. So we'll take a few breaths here. And I always like to, on an inhale, press into the hand on the mat, lift up a little bit. And then on the exhale, gently bob back down again, almost like your little boat bobbing on the water on a beautiful sunny day. And you'll feel that opening in the side body. And then when exhale back through center, the right hand goes to the mat, the left hand lifts high. And then on your exhale, bending into the hand that's on the mat, reaching over towards the right side. And then inhaling back through center. We're going to take our hands together, interlace your fingers, turn your palms forward. And on an inhale, we'll reach them up to the sky. And then release your fingers and let your hands float down. We'll take the hands behind us and interlace the fingers, pressing the hands down towards the mat. You may let your shoulders roll back, feel your shoulder blades pinch together, opening your heart space. And then release your hands, shake everything out. All right, hands back to the knees. We're going to open up our neck a little bit. So take your ear and drop it over to the left shoulder. If you want a little more intensity here, you could take that right hand out to the side. And you can experiment with that and see if it feels appropriate for you today. And if the right hand's extended, bring it back to your knee and just drop your head down to your chest. And then roll your head over to the right side. So right shoulder to right ear to right shoulder. I'll get the body parts right. And then if this feels good, stay right here. If you'd like a little more intensity, extend the left arm out to the side, left hand. And then bring the left hand back into your knee. And on an inhale, bring your head back to center. Maybe you turn your head over towards the left side. And inhale back to center, turn your head over towards the right side. And then bring your head back to center, and we'll start to make our way over to hands and knees. So you might like to take a blanket underneath your knees if you'd like a little bit of softness there. I would start at about here, bring it about halfway down the mat, and let your knees drop onto that. This is a good place to bring your blocks to the front of the mat so that they'll be there when you need them or want them. And this is a good place to do any sort of pre-flight checks, like take a drink of water. And then find your way to table. So we traditionally cue this with shoulders over the wrists and hips over the knees. This doesn't necessarily work for everyone, not in everybody. And if you're someone who tends to have cranky wrists, you might like to walk your hands a little further forward so you're taking some of the angle out of your wrists. I like to spread my fingers wide, and after a while, it becomes kind of a habit. I like to spread my fingers wide and press my fingertips into the mat. And it feels weird in the beginning, but it all of a sudden becomes a habit. And what that does is it takes some of the weight out of the heel of your hand, which may make table and other weight-bearing poses on your hands a little bit more comfortable. So when you're situated, take an inhale, drop your belly down towards the mat, lift heart and head. And then on an exhale, reverse it. So drawing your belly in as you round your back, drop your head. Eyes open or closed as we move through a few rounds of cat and cow. Enjoying the flexion and extension of your spine as we move between these two shapes. And as you do this, you may find that your body is asking for some other kind of organic movements. Maybe a rock of the hips from side to side. Whatever's calling out to you, go ahead and enjoy it. Go ahead and add it in. Let's take two more, and then we'll all meet in neutral table. And once you're back in neutral spine, extend the right leg towards the back of the mat. So keep the toes on the mat and start to shift your weight back and then shift your weight forward. You may even join it to the breath. Inhaling as you shift back, exhaling as you shift forward, or vice versa. And then the next time you've shifted forward, lift your right toes off the mat, cross the right foot across the left, and let your toes come down onto the floor and look out over your left shoulder. And with an inhale, bring your head back to center, bring your right leg back to center, and bring that right knee back down underneath you. You may shift back a little bit and give your wrists a little bit of TLC, shaking them out, rolling them out, maybe even taking one hand to your fingertips, and then the other hand. And then we'll make our way back to neutral table, or whatever table looks like for you. And we'll extend the left foot towards the back of the mat, toes on the mat, shifting back, shifting forward. And the next time you've shifted forward, lift the left toes off the mat, cross the left foot over the right, and drop your toes to the floor. Look out over your right shoulder. Inhale your head back to center. Take your left leg back to center. Maybe a round or two of cat and cow here. Maybe you shift back, curl your toes, shift back onto your knees, roll out your wrists again. So they're starting to wake up now and they may feel a little more achy. I find this does pass, at least for me, it does pass after a while. They're not too happy in the beginning. We'll make our way back to table one more time. Then we'll take an inhale and reach the right arm up towards the sky. And on your exhale, slide the right arm underneath the left wrist. Your shoulder, your right shoulder, and the side of your head may come down to the mat. You might if this feels a little too far away and it's uncomfortable, you might even take a blanket underneath your head. I think that's a little more user friendly than a block. And you can stay right here just enjoying this twist, or if you'd like to play around with your balance a bit, shift a little bit forward. so that you can find a little bit of lightness in the left foot and extend it towards the back of the mat. So take this one step at a time if you feel like experimenting today. Just take the foot to the back of the mat, leave it there. If you feel stable, you could experiment with lifting that left foot off the mat. And if left foot is lifted, bring your left knee back down underneath you. Bring your left hand closer to your shoulder and press into your left hand as you lift the right arm up to the sky and take that back down to the mat. Realign yourself in table. We'll take it to the other side. On an inhale, arm lifts up, left arm. Exhale, slide the left arm underneath the right wrist. And decide what options feel appropriate today on this side. If the right leg is extended, bring it back down underneath you. Take the right hand a little closer underneath your shoulder so you can press into the right hand. Inhale the left arm to the sky. Then take that left hand back down to the mat. Round or two of cat and cow. And then we'll come back to neutral spine. Curl your toes. Spread your fingertips wide. Press your fingertips into the mat. And on an inhale, we'll lift the knees off the mat just a couple inches. Keep breathing. And then drop your knees back down. I'm sure you felt your core engage. I have one. I have a core. Okay, back to neutral spine. Curl your toes. We're going to lift our knees off the mat just a couple of inches, keeping our breath moving. And then extend your hips up to the sky. Find your way to your first downward facing dog. You might need to make an adjustment of the feet. Maybe they need to be closer. Maybe they need to be a little further away. And then give your dog a walk. So first one knee and then the other. Bend. And then bring that movement to stillness and start to walk your feet towards your hands. Keep a soft bend in your knees and allow your torso to drape over your thighs. If you prefer to have your head lifted, if for any reason, sometimes we're dealing with dizziness or other concerns, you might just take your forearms to your thighs and keep your head lifted. If you'd like to take the forward fold, your head reaches down towards the mat. Maybe you turn your head left and right and nod it up and down. We hear this all the time with the head, neck, shoulders. These are the places where we hold a lot of tension. It's true. And so when I'm in this shape, I like to imagine or visualize that as I'm making these movements with my head, I'm allowing all of that stress and tension to flow back down into the earth. If you like ragdoll, go ahead and bring the opposite hand to the opposite elbow. Creating a little basket of your arms. And maybe you gently sway from side to side. And then come back to center. Release your hands back down towards the mat. Press your toes into the mat, and on an inhale with a flat back, hinging up from the hips, we'll come to standing. We'll find mountain pose. So all of our major joints are stacked on top of each other, shoulders over the hips over the knees, knees over the ankles. Arms by our sides, chin parallel to the floor. Maybe you roll your shoulders back and let them softly fall. And you come into an awareness of what neutral feels like. The least amount of stress being exerted on our skeleton, all of the natural curves of the spine present. Bring hands together at heart center. Take an inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky. Maybe you look up. And on your exhale, swan dive or bow forward. Inhale to a flat back. And exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up. Palms together. Exhale, hands down to your heart. We'll do a couple more just like that. On an inhale, arms lift. Exhale, swan dive or bow forward. Inhale, flat back. And exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up. Arms together. Exhale, hands down to your heart. Maybe for this one, imagine you're in your happy place. On an inhale, arms lift to the sky, outside someplace, a beach, the top of a mountain on a beautiful day. Exhale or fold forward. Inhale halfway. And exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, arms lift. Arms together. Exhale, hands down to your heart. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. One more time. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Release your hands down by your sides. We're going to take a step back with the right foot. When we step back with the right foot, we'll turn the right toes out to the side and drop your knee. We're going to turn the torso forward. Okay, so this is warrior two legs, right? But in this case, we're just going to turn the torso forward. And on an inhale, lift our arms up to the sky. So we're in warrior one. Let your hands float down. And you might interlace your fingers behind your back. You might reach for your forearms. Either way. Take an inhale and lift the crown of your head up towards the sky. And on an inhale, we'll just hinge forward, either over the front knee or to the inside of the front knee. So your feet are really active. Your toes are really pressing into the mat. And then on an inhale, we'll gently rise up with our core strength. Beautiful. Back up to warrior one. And then we'll open up to warrior two. I got this wrong. You're looking at my back right now. I should have started on this side. Okay, warrior two, sorry. Back hand to the back leg. Turn the front palm up on an inhale. Reverse your warrior. And then as you inhale the arms back through warrior two, we're going to keep going and come to side angle. So the forearm comes to the thigh. Maybe the top hand lifts up to the sky. It could stay on your hip if you prefer. And then we'll move back and forth through those two. So coming up through warrior two, flip the palm, reverse. Exhale through warrior two, right to side angle. So I really hold on to a drishti as I move through these two shapes. It changes as I move, but I'm still holding on to a focal point. One more time, inhale, reverse. And exhale back to, exhale to warrior. We'll do shapes and colors next week. I've really, we're all of us are in a different place. Sorry about that. Teacher error. Let's come back to warrior two. We'll turn the left toes to the long edge of the mat. I'm going to stay right where I am so that Kathy can see me. All right, hands to the hips. Take an inhale, lengthen your spine, and on an exhale, hinge forward from the hips. On the way down, you might reach for a block. Hands come to the block or to the floor. So maybe you shift from side to side here in this wide angle fold. And then take your right hand to the block and your left hand to your sacrum. And on an inhale, we're going to twist open to the right. Beautiful. And we're using this hand on the sacrum as kind of a feedback mechanism. So if we're not twisting from the torso, from the thoracic spine, but instead we're twisting from the hips, then that opposite hip will drop down. And we want to try to keep the hips level so that the twist comes from this center of the chest. And maybe once you're there, if it feels appropriate, you could lift the top arm. And then release that left hand down towards the block. And the right hand comes to the sacrum. And we'll take an inhale here. And on the exhale, twisting open towards the right, keeping the hips level. Maybe lifting the right arm. And then releasing the right hand towards the block and heel toeing your feet back to center. Bending your knees just a little bit as we take an inhale and rise up. You can shake it all off, do a little dance. And then we'll come back towards the front of the mat. Okay. This time we're going to take a step back with the left foot. We'll turn the left toes out to the side and drop the heel. The chest will square forward to the front. And when we feel stable, on an inhale, arms lift up to warrior one. Let the hands float down. Interlace your fingers or reach for your forearms. Take an inhale and let the crown of the head lift. And on an exhale, we're hinging forward from the hips. We can take it simply to here. Hold on to a drishti point. If we want to, we could take it a little bit further into a humble warrior. And on an inhale, the feet are very active. We're rising back up, releasing the arms out to warrior two. So trying to keep the shoulders over the hips. I mean, think the instinct is to reach that forward arm a little further forward. And of course, since we don't have any mirrors here, we can't see where we are in space. Take the back hand to the back leg, turn the front palm up, inhale, reverse your warrior. And then inhale back to warrior two, and we'll keep going into side angle. So the front forearm comes to the front thigh, the top arm lifts to the sky, maybe it stays on the back hip. And then on an inhale, we'll come back to warrior two, take the back hand to the back leg, inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, coming into side angle. See if I can get this right this time. Inhale back, reverse. Exhale to side angle. Let's do two more. Inhale, reverse. Exhale to side angle. One more time. Reverse. Exhale to side angle. And then an inhale, we'll come back up through warrior two. We'll turn the toes towards the long edge of the mat. Adjust in any way you need to. Okay, let's start with the hands on the hips. And take an inhale, crown of the head lifts, and then we'll hinge forward with a flat back. Hands maybe down to the floor or down to the block. And try to walk your hands a little further forward. So basically we're coming into a wide angle down dog here. And then walk your hands back underneath you. Turn your hands around and walk them underneath your legs. You might put a little bend in your knees. And then turn your hands around again. Bring your hands underneath your face. Heel toe your feet back together. And then on an inhale, we'll rise back up. Arms lift to the sky. Palms come together. Exhale your hands down to your heart. Deep breath in and deep breath out. Okay, we're going to come back down to the mat. I would get a blanket for us to sit on. Maybe have a couple blocks nearby. Yeah, water's a good idea. Okay, so we'll start with the legs extended. And then bend the right knee, bring the sole of the foot to the mat. We'll cross that over the left one. So you can keep this bottom leg long if that feels right to you. Or you could lean over to the side and tuck this shin, the opposite, that shin underneath you. I always try to resituate my sit bones evenly on the mat, wiggle a little bit there. All right, so we'll take this into a twist from here. We'll take an inhale and lift I think for you, it's the left arm. Yeah? Okay. I'm terrible at mirroring. And then one of two things will happen here. Either you'll wrap this forward arm around your knee and take the opposite hand to the wrist, okay? Or cross that arm over and take that hand to your heart. Okay, untwist, come back to center. So we're gonna have a little fun with this. You should be careful when a yoga teacher says that. Okay, so your hands will come down to other way. Yes. Okay. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to lean forward and press into our hands so that our hips come off the mat. So you might want to watch me first. So I'm now on the balls of my feet and I'm walking my hands to the back of the mat and then over to the other side. So lean in, lift your hips. Yeah, just come onto the balls of your feet and walk your hands. There you go. You got it. Yes. Yes. I told you it was fun. That always reminds me of a dog getting settled on his bed, before he has a good night's sleep. Anyway, I think it's kind of a fun way to do it. So here we are on the opposite side with a little fun and no effort. This time we'll take I think it's the left arm, and either cross it over your knee or wrap the arm around your knee and opposite hand to opposite wrist. I won't make you do it again. Yoga doesn't have to be serious, right? Is any of life serious? Most of the things we're serious about don't need to be serious. Okay, untwist. Then take your hands behind you, lean back, and release your legs. Shake them out. Okay, we're going to make our way down to our backs. That blanket you're sitting on, you can take that away. Keep the blanket and the blocks nearby because you might choose to use it in a twist or something. Okay, coming back down to your back. Good opportunity here to draw the knees in. Wrap the arms around your knees, rock from side to side. And then come back to center. Extend your legs long. Walk both feet over to the left side, and then inch your head and shoulders over to the left side. So we're starting to feel some opening in the right side body. Let's keep it at a mild level. So if you're happy with this degree of sensation, then stay right here. Find a comfortable place for your hands to rest. And just notice the impact that this has on the breath. You'll feel it more in the right side body. To experiment a little bit more, if you feel like it, cross the right ankle over the left. And you can experiment with getting into another version of the shape. And if it doesn't work in your body, by all means, regress it. So ankles could cross. One or both arms could lift overhead. Be very careful if you've got any shoulder, neck issues going on. If your arms are overhead, bring them back down. If your ankles are crossed, uncross them. Walk them back to center. So I want you to just take a moment to notice sensation. What was the impact of that shape in your physical body? And then draw your knees in. I always find banana a little bit back bendy. So I like a little release on the low back. You might as well. And then let your feet drop down, let your legs extend. And this time we'll take the feet to the right. Inch the head and shoulders to the right. You can decide what options you might enjoy here. Left ankle over the right, perhaps. One or both arms lifted overhead. That's all these are. It's just options for the shape. It's not better, it's not worse, it's not more or less advanced. If your arms are overhead, bring them back down. If your ankles are crossed, uncross them and walk everything back to center. Knees draw in, rock from side to side. Maybe a happy baby here. And then let your feet drop back down to the mat and walk them together until the soles of your feet are together and knees start to drop out to the side. Go ahead and take a block underneath each of your thighs. Maybe you like it. Maybe you like Supta Baddha Konasana without the blocks. That's completely fine, obviously. If you find it a little bit too much of a hip opener, then the blocks can really make it more enjoyable. And again, this might be a good place to reconnect with your breath, taking a hand on either side of your low belly with upper arms resting on the floor. In traditional Chinese medicine, this is called the lower dantian. It has a rather poetic name. It's called the Sea of Chi. Chi being life force energy, the Sea of Chi. If you have blocks under your knees, take them away. Draw your knees in one more time. And then we're going to make our way up to a seated position just for a second so we can acquire a couple of props, which are going to be your bolster and a block. Okay, the block is going to be on the lowest setting, and I'm taking the bolster, the long edge of the bolster is along the long edge of my mat. And then I'm going to lift the back of the bolster up, and I'm going to put that block underneath the top of the bolster, about a quarter of the way down. Yeah. Kathy, you might want to move your, yeah, perfect. A little closer to the top. And then take your blanket and open it up about like so, like this. And then we're going to roll it from the folded end and put it at the top of the bolster. And we're going to turn around away from it. We're going to lie down over the bolster. And that blanket roll is to be tucked underneath your neck. Arms can gently fall out to the sides if that works for you. You can have them maybe on your body someplace, on your stomach. And a few things you can do with your legs. Extend them long if that feels good on your lower back. Feet to the mat, walk them to the outer edges and drop your knees into center. I sometimes like to take a block between my thighs when I do that. I don't know why that seems to make a difference. And again, you could do butterfly by taking the soles of your feet together and let the knees drop out to the side. So yogi's choice here. If you're happy and comfortable where you are, then go ahead and stay right here for your Shavasana. If you have a favorite version of Shavasana, the arrangement of your body, the arrangement of your props, go ahead and transition now into that shape. Allow your shoulders to deliberately soften down to the bolster. And then soften those small muscles around your eyes and around your jaw and across your forehead so that you're not holding any expression. And you might find that just those small adjustments help your breath to come a little more freely. And just know that in this moment, you are safe and you are supported. Shavasana. Take a deep breath in and deep breath out. Eyes still closed. Start to bring a little movement to fingers and to toes. We're still not in any hurry. And then let it get a little bigger. 2 wrists, 2 ankles. It's like you're waking up slowly after a great night's sleep. And take a deep breath in. Reach your arms overhead. Stretch to your fullest length, fingers to toes. And on your exhale, let your arms float down. And maybe you roll gently over onto one side on your bolster, whichever is your favorite side, to enjoy these final few moments of your Shavasana. I want to share a little reflection with you by a wonderful teacher by the name of Rolf Gates. And at first he quotes a line from the Bhagavad Gita. In the night of all beings, the wise man sees only the radiance of the self. I have found that the asana are an answer to the difficulty of our times. Certainly, I have not been above the darkness of our times, the night of all beings. On the contrary, I have known its depths. I have spent more days in this lifetime with despair in my heart than hope. But yoga brings me in touch with the light. One of the qualities of this light is the knowledge that if we have our soul, we have everything. And if we lose it, we have nothing. Yoga connects us to our soul. Our practice reminds us that we already have everything we need. Amidst the unspeakable sorrows and injustices of the material world, we find the endless brilliance of the spirit. Our connection to our own soul serves as a reminder to those around us, clearing the way for them to reconnect to spirit themselves. In the light of all beings, our practice is a radiant light. And when you feel ready, make your way back to a comfortable seat facing our shared space. When you're there, bring your hands to heart center. We'll close our practice by chanting 1 round of Om. And believe me, you are most welcome just to enjoy the sound of it, let it wash over you. If you'd like to join me, we'll begin on our next big inhale. Om. One more deep breath in together. And exhale. May today you be safe. May your heart remain open. May you awaken to the light of your own true nature. May you be healed, and may you be a source of healing to all others. Bringing hands together at third eye center, bowing together in acknowledgement of our connection to one another and the divine light that lives within each one of us. And in gratitude for this community and for this practice that brings us together, we say Namaste. Thank you all for being